how many of you here have a car with parking sensor? Yeah, it's pretty standard now. I don't have it, I'm on a student budget. My car isn't new enough, but my parents do, and it's great. If I sit into their car, just put the car into reverse, I get all this information. It tells me how far back I should go to, park my car in a safe place, where I shouldn't go to return the car with a dent on the back of it to my parents. And all this is given to me without even turning my neck. It makes our lives so much easier, and it's really great. The car itself has not changed. I still jump in my parents' car and drive from A to B as I do in my own car. All that's happened with that car is a sensor has been put on the back of it. I'm doing the same for clinicians. I'm putting a sensor onto their needle that they're using. And this needle, the smart needle, will tell them what they're touching in the body at any time. The application area in which I am focusing this technology for to begin with is for peripheral nerve block. This is a technique, it's an anesthetic technique, that is used to treat chronic pain, but also to numb limbs for surgery, so your arms or your legs. So what happens is, if I need surgery on my wrist, instead of undergoing general anesthesia, the anesthetist can target the nerves at the top of my shoulder and deliver a drug to that nerve to deaden my arm, so I don't have to go to sleep during my surgery. The ideal location for drug delivery is just at the outside of the nerve, so as close as possible to the nerve without going into the nerve. So at the outside covering of the nerve called the epineurium. However, ultrasound imaging is it takes a long time to get used to. It's very intuitive and quite subjective. So I've made it a little bit easier here for you to see what you're looking at. So on the left of the screen, you see the ultrasound image, which is a grayscale 2D image. And you have the animation of what you're actually looking at. Now, this takes years of training and expertise, and actually not everyone can do it. Only a small few of anesthetists are actually trained to do peripheral nerve block. However, that is changing. So I'm just going to show you a quick video of a peripheral nerve block being performed. It's a really quick procedure, and this is happening just a few minutes prior to the patient going into surgery. So you'll see the needle is coming from left to right at the top of the screen towards the nerve tissue here. Now, the needle completely disappears from sight. I can't tell what that needle is touching. You probably can't tell what it's touching. And you know what? The clinician using this needle is having a best guess at where it's lying. So I do know that it's pushing around the nervous tissue here, and a little bit of drug has just been injected. It's a good sign that the nerve bundles have been pushed away from that injection due to the pressure, that indicates that the needle is actually lying outside the nerve. So the pressure of the injection is pushing those nerve bundles away. If the needle was located inside the nerve, then that pressure from the injection can cause the bundle to burst. And this is what causes nerve damage. So it's just being drawn back to the other side of the nerve to get a complete block. And this will allow for surgery or whatever procedure to be performed on the patient while awake. So while awake, so you get better pain relief where the drug is located. So how my technology works? Well, as the needle is pushed through the body, it'll tell you what tissue the needle tip is touching at any time. As it gets closer to the nerve, it'll indicate where the epineurium is. So this is the ideal location for drug delivery. However, it'll also warn if you've gone into intraneural space. So as it is now, you may not have caused nerve damage. So it's warning you, please don't inject here, as you will cause damage if you do inject. So what am I actually doing in my PhD? Well, I'm taking a needle off the shelf, a regular, standard, hypodermic needle that all of us know. And I'm putting 2 gold electrodes onto it. So this is my sensor. You can see that there's 2 tracks running down the needle. And I connect my smart needle to an impedance analyzer. This analyzer allows me to deliver alternating current down one track of the needle. That current passes through whatever the needle tip is touching at any time, be it tissue or a solution. And the resulting current is read back by the second electrode back into the impedance analyzer. In biology, ions are the charge carriers. And all tissues have different ionic properties, and therefore have different electrical properties. And this is what we are using to differentiate between the different tissue types and identify what the needle is actually touching. So this is just a quick graph of some of my results from my PhD. And you can see that muscle has really low impedance compared to fat. Muscle conducts electricity quite well, and so has a low impedance. Fat, which is highly insulating, has a very high impedance. This is how we identify the different tissues at the needle tip. So why is this really important to society? It's great, I'm helping the doctors, fantastic. But actually, it's going to impact you too. Living in Ireland, we all know about the waiting list crisis in hospitals, and we've all had relatives waiting on trolleys in A&E for hours and hours. Well, if we make peripheral nerve block easier to perform, easier to use, and therefore easier to train people in, more people will be performing it. When you undergo general anesthesia, it comes with a lot of complications. I don't know if many of you have experienced general anesthesia. I had my wisdom teeth out, and it actually took me a lot longer to come back from the general anesthesia than it did the pain of my wisdom teeth. It really knocks you out. You get nausea, vomiting, post-operative fatigue. It takes days of recovery. That's because you get a systematic spread of the drug all over your body, where you might not necessarily need it. I only needed it up around my jaw. If you use peripheral nerve block, the anesthetic is located to where it's needed. You get better pain relief, and you don't get any of the complications that come with general anesthesia. Significantly, especially to the HSE, this is going to save them money. You are taking what could be 3-4-day hospital stays to now just a day case procedure, where you get that patient in and out after surgery in one day without any hospital stay. I'm developing this technology in Tyndall National Institute down in Cork. It's a fantastic place where there's a lot of semiconductor fabrication goes on. We have a lovely clean room. And we're using this technology to make, or using these fabrication methods to bring technology into different areas. And in particular, I'm working in the life science interface there with my supervisor, Dr. Eric Moore. But this guy here, Dr. Brian O'Donnell, he's a consultant anaesthetist in Cork University Hospital. And he came to Tyndall looking for a solution to this problem that they have in the clinics. And he has been with us the whole way through. He's my co-supervisor. And so already, in my very early days of research on this product, we're very customer-focused and user-focused. So it's been vital that we get Brian's input the whole way along. And it's really nice to work with the clinician and see that we're solving a problem that's really out there. I'm an Irish Research Council scholar, and so they are funding this work, and I'm highly grateful for that. So someday soon, I hope you will see the smart needle in the hospitals, and it will benefit you and your family and your friends' lives. Yeah, I'm giving the clinicians a parking sensor for their needle, and and you know what? I reckon it's going to be used in a lot more applications than peripheral nerve block. Thanks very much.
Want to be in the audience next time? Click here for tickets to Inspirefest 2017.